say. My dahlias and peat moss yesterday.
The tractor was delivered back today, so I'm all set. Now I gotta put the snow blower on.
Yeah.
Because it's coming. Sooner or later.
Keep it on.
I don't mind it waiting for quite a while.
What did you say? Oh, keep it on. Oh, they're getting hammered, right?
Oh, they got hammered.
Don't they always get hammered though?
Oh, yeah, lake effect over there is just horrendous.
Just a storm in November is pretty record breaking.
Yeah, because they, in some areas, it got like 5 feet. And it was funny, some areas 20 miles away only got 2 or 3 inches.
Right.
But that's the way it hits, because it depends how the prevailing wind is really hitting. And if it comes right up the lake, it just funnels it right in there.
So what's the biggest snowfall anybody remembers?
The one we had last year.
2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years.
2 years ago.
I don't want that again.
No, I don't either.
Because that was in such a short period of time too. It was.
Well, the thing was, I got up in the morning, I looked out, it was snowing, and I figured, oh,
It snowed and
fine.
then it melted.
Right.
Yeah, I was gone within a week.
Yeah.
It was the first week in December.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, Steve went to work that morning, couldn't get home because the roads
Yeah.
weren't plowed.
Oh,
Insane.
well, I went out, like I said, I got up in the morning, just early, looked out, yeah, it's snowing. So I went back to bed. When I got up later,
Couldn't
It's
get
like-
your car.
holy
That's-
cow. It's just to get the stretch in the driveway by the garage doors cleaned up so I could back the car around. Say nothing about going down the
I know.
driveway.
Wow, that was crazy.
Because even with a 5-foot snow blower, that's,
Oh, no, it's gonna take forever.
I couldn't take a full, it just hit it. So I had to go first this way and then,
Yeah.
and of course, then it only blows it part way. So
And then wherever it lands, it's wicked.
it's hard. But once I got the first pass done, then it was a faster process. I had the tractor in for some service and stuff, so it should be good for the winter.
Did not do that.
And at least with my snow blower, it's on the front of the tractor.
You see, mine isn't. Mine's in the back. I can have one on the front. I just.
They're expensive. I was lucky. I got a little Massey Ferguson, and the place I bought it from, in the middle of July, had a sale on the one that went on the front. So I saved like $2,000 on the thing. I took my trailer down and picked it up. I know I got some of the strangest looks from people hauling home in July with a snowblower on the trailer. But hey, save money? Yep, I'll do that. Joe's cutting it close.
Oh, I told you that.
No.
He's sick.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Oh, yes, he said he's not coming.
Okay.
But we can still do this, right?
Oh, yeah, we have 2. That make it a
I'm
legit
sorry.
meeting. Plus, he could call in if we really needed
Yeah.
to have his voicing on something.
Okay.
But I still like to make sure the meeting starts at 7 and that's for advertised and stuff.
Yep.
That way, you know, we're doing what we're supposed to and making sure that people have the opportunity to come. Or in this case, with Ed broadcasting, you know when to sign in or look at it later. And then Sharon. And go.
Was that rock always there?
Hmm?
Was that rock always there?
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. It was hiding in all the lilacs that were there and the oak that was there.
Oh.
Looks great.
Yeah, we talked about moving it out front, but we're afraid that if we just move it out without putting some sort of base down, it'll just sink into the ground. But we were concerned that the lilac roots and the oak roots were going to start impacting the foundation. So Joe came over with the big the backhoe and muckled onto the pieces and pulled them out.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, looks a lot better.
So where's that?
Trying to get some of the things, make the place look better. Plus, it makes it easier to figure out if we need any painting or anything. We need to do a good assessment of what the building needs are over the next couple of months.
Well, it's better to breathe, not walk down by all that stuff.
Even the inside could probably do a new coat of paint, but I hate to think what it would cost.
The price of paint right now is.
Oh, price of everything has gone up so badly. That's okay.
No,
It is 7 o'clock, so I will call the meeting to order. And the first thing I have on the agenda is pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This evening we have Amy Freak, myself, Russ Edwards, and our administrative assistant, Melissa. Joe Marco is out with some sort of illness. And instead of following the agenda exactly as it's written, I'm going to skip down to item G, the Renee St. Germain issue. Renee was interested in the town clerk deputy position. And as I understand it, she came in and sat with Christie for a period of time to look at what the job would entail. I don't know if you were actually offered the position or not, because it's an appointment by the town clerk, not by the select board. Or did you decide not to?
No, she said that I had the job if I wanted it. So I came up and I worked that one day, but I guess the time period where I was gonna start, I had the job, wasn't gonna work. So she said, no, just do the one day, but you would definitely get paid.
Okay.
That one day.
So as I understand the situation, you spent a part of a day seeing what she was doing, and then submitted a request for being paid for those hours.
I did a time sheet, but she had lost it.
That's something else that I understand as well. I don't know if she found it or submitted a new one.
I submitted a new one.
But when Charlene looked it over, because she was stepping in as deputy, she said that, just because she was looking over what the job entailed, not really training, not to submit the voucher. So that's where it's kind of stopped. And I don't really recall hearing much about it other than that at this point. Now, a relative of yours has called me a couple times requesting that the town see about paying for those hours. And I consulted with an HR expert who's had 40 years of training and dealt with HR for many years. So the best thing to do is, with the situation being that there probably wasn't a good understanding between both parties, that there's a misunderstanding, and even though Charlene made some sort of decision not to present a payment, we should see about making the situation go away. That's an HR standpoint. So with that in mind, I thought, okay, we have a couple of options. And I think some of them are, we could offer payment at minimum pay, at the regular standard minimum payment, which is nowadays New Hampshire's minimum wage is $7.25. That's one option. I don't know for sure the exact amount of hours, but there's a dispute between 6 and 4, so another option would be to kind of split the difference. So I think at this point, it's up to us to ask some questions and then figure out what we want to do.
I think I need to hear Christie's side of the story, honestly.
Okay,
And I have, in all of my 45 years, I've never heard of being paid for a shadow or a interview day. And does the town have a policy in place to pay for such interviews and
as far as
situations?
I understand with the situation, the only way they would actually be paying is if they offered the job and it became listed as training time. That's what we've done with other people when they're actually training. Melissa, did you get some training time that we paid for?
I don't think I really had training time yet.
I
I mean, the time that we sat together, like an hour before each meeting, I was paid for those, but no formal.
But typically, if a position, part of the situation is the deputy is appointed by the town clerk. So the select board doesn't even get involved until the appointment letter is already offered and pretty much we sign off on it. And the town clerk actually gets to set her own hours. The town votes to pay a certain amount. Past that, the select board is not involved. So if you want to talk to Christie, then we'll need to table this till next meeting and then make a determination then. I was hoping to get it dealt with tonight, but that's fine. At least you are, what position is and how we look at all of this.
To Joe, and I met Joe in the office that day.
Yeah,
He said that I would definitely get paid.
okay,
See, I haven't heard any of this.
yeah.
And
I have dim recollection of this.
She lost it, so the first one, she said, I mean, I had it all on my phone text message from her, but, you know, I understand that she wants to talk, I do understand that.
Well, and because any decision it's not personal, I wanna know all the facts and I wanna know policies.
No,
That's it.
I mean, you just first hearing that, I do understand, I'm not being a.
No, I know, I just,
You know?
I want all the.
And that's
information.
valid because
I just
what,
wanted to let you know that I got it from her and Joe.
okay, and I hadn't heard that
I
until,
haven't either.
so, I need to speak with Joe as well on this subject. So as much as I hate to table it till next week or meeting, I think that's going to be the best answer for this situation. So if you'll make sure we get it on the agenda for our next meeting, and at that point, we should be able to put it to bed. And as far as I'm concerned, at this point, I believe due to the lack of time or the lack of, speedy delivery with any of this answers and stuff, we did this way back when, March.
But, like I said.
And I think the
thought
fact-
I got- And then I didn't get nothing, and I had texted her and asked her,
Yeah.
where do I go now? And she's like, well, let me see what I can do.
So I think at this point,
And then
You know,
she just said to come back and.
we need to figure out what's right.
Yep.
And
Share
then,
both sides, yep,
get it taken care of.
absolutely.
So, as much, so I think that's the
So
situation.
do you want my phone number, just in case?
I've got your phone number because you called me earlier this
That's
evening.
on my cell phone, that's my cell phone, but
Yep.
I can give you my house.
Oh, please do.
It's 613-863-4835.
4835. Okay,
Just in case you can't get me.
Yep. Great. Thank you, Renee.
Okay,
And we'll be in touch with you one way or the other.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Well, I prefer to have discussions, which are figuring what's right, instead of argument, which is who's right.
Correct.
And we get much further along with having discussions. So, And now we go back to the agenda, which is approving the previous minutes. And we have a number of them to look at. And first one's from Wednesday, November 16th, which was an extra date because we'd had our regular scheduled select board meeting on the 11th, which was election day, and we couldn't have the standard meeting. So we went through the minutes for 3 other meetings, looked at some septic design, but the map and lot number and address were incorrect, but that's been taken care of this week.
Yeah.
Joe found out that the address was not 144 Pinnacle, or the lot was wrong, incorrect.
Right, the lot and the address.
Yep. So we took care of that. I forgot to fill out, did you do the census?
I read it and then I talked to Charlene
Yep.
and she said to file it in the trash can.
Oh, okay.
So I did,
That's even better.
yeah. But if they want anything else, that's just they send them to everybody.
Yep.
It's not a-
Renewal with Health Trust. I took care of getting the paperwork signed, sent to them, they signed, scanned, and I filed it. This is, it's a insurance policy the town has pretty much on file in case we have any employees that require health insurance. At this point, we do not have any employees that are taking health insurance. They seem to all be working off of their wives or other sources. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, the roof at the transfer station has been repaired and it does look pretty good. The only thing that Carl wants to do is add a little bit of gutter right above the door, because otherwise he comes out and it drips right down his neck. That's not very pleasant with the cold weather. And Carl's been, doing paying attention to the number of people that come to the dump each time.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep. Now, it was Joe that was looking at the stuff from the visiting nurses, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep, so I'll have to wait till discuss that with him a little bit more. Still haven't heard back from the Hanson Bridge people yet. I'm gonna have to rattle their cage a little bit more. Looks like everything's pretty well covered here. So I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
That's why I say I make a motion. I
Mhm.
make a motion to approve the minutes.
And I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Copy signed, or this is the draft, this is the draft one.
Yep.
Okay, so approved, so you can print out the new one without the watermark.
So those ones are ones you approved last week
Oh.
that just need to be signed.
Yep.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then we have the ones from October 11th that does not have the watermark on it. And it is ready for signature. Our process has been improved these days that when we have a minutes been approved, we now have a signature block so that we can sign it and put it in the permanent file. And if anybody wants copies, and if they get a copy of this, they'll know that it hasn't changed. And then, let's see. Then we also have one from our working meeting of October 17th. And that was, we were pretty much just looking down through the stuff on the budgets to start getting our budget numbers ready. And I do not see anything needs to be changed. If you look it over and then we can vote to change, close that. And then we also have Minutes from our non-public session, which I will not read because they were voted to be sealed until this situation has been resolved. So we'll sign this one. (11/22/22). So these are now ready to be filed in their appropriate places. And on the agenda, some of the budget stuff we were talking about was determining wage changes. Charlene was nice enough to give me the website and a printout of everybody's pay at this point and the IRS wage increase website lists the government wage increase to be 4.6%. That's the Fed pay increase.
The CPI budgets.
Well, depending upon which one you look at, it can be significantly different. Because for Social Security, they're doing a 8.7% increase.
They have to, right?
Hmm?
I'm sure they have to, don't you?
Well, that's governed by law and by some of the factors they have to look at. But this is just a straight wage percentage that the Office of Management and Budget or something like that, I forget the exact, it goes along with the IRS on how they establish it. So we have the hourly rates for our treasurer, tax collector deputy, Carl from transfer station, Ed who does our maintenance and cleaning here at the town hall, Joe and Joe Jr., which are our highway department, and our deputy treasurer. Last year it was a 2.2% raise with what the IRS is advocating and paying the feds. I entertain a motion to get our pay raised by 5% for this year, knowing that everything's gone up and we really kind of just hedged our bets last year and just did a little bit. That's only 0.4% over what the feds are paying. So we can figure that. And we can calculate that so we can put it into our budget numbers, because it spreads across a couple of different accounts between the executive and financial administration and general government buildings and sanitation.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it makes it a little different. If everybody was one bucket, it'd make it easy for
Right.
figuring the numbers. But if we take these and simply increase them by 5%, I think that'd be a reasonable accommodation. And it looks like our tax rate should be extremely close to what we had last year. I originally got the paperwork from DRA, it's going to be the same rate. However, Christie spotted an error on the part of Avatar and not checked on a couple of different subdivisions. So that calculation had to be redone, and we should hear, I expect tomorrow or the next day, what the actual tax rate is going to be. But I'm anticipating it's going to hold at $14.22, which if we keep the budget, just a little bit up, you're not getting hit with both a tax rate increase and a budget increase. Budget increase is just going to have to be a little bit, because fuel alone for the highway department has gone up pretty substantially. And we've got a few things that we need to take care of. A saving grace is the fact that the election is only going to be one next year instead of 3 this year. This things out a little bit. And then once we start figuring all the different warrants, that's probably what's going to impact the budget the most. So,
You had talked to me about the Hanover dispatch,
yep,
and I emailed and talked to him, and he's expecting a 4 to 5% increase.
that would be reasonable.
Yeah,
Yep. We've had, over the past years where we've had, and they were nice enough one year not to have any increase, but each year it was between, 3 and 4%. So 5 this year does not seem out of the range.
no, and he said a lot of it's all based on employee compensation.
Mhm. Oh, the biggest part of their
Yeah.
costs is the number of people that are hired to, be it when people need them. And that does get expensive because everything's going up, so wages have to go up. They have to be able to hire people. Same problem we're facing. You can't get people to take a position if they're not getting paid enough. That takes care of wages. And development of the list of warrants for the town report. Let me see how many are going to be continuations. Article 1 stays the same. That's our simple, typical election for the town positions. Article 2, the number will change, but that is our budget. Number 3, that won't be around because that was the one-time fee Hanover did for money on the building. Article 4 will be the same as last year because that's the money for cemetery maintenance and cemetery repairs. Article 5, we may change the amount. That's to put money in the capital reserve fund for bridges. Even though we may see about repairing one of them, we still have other ones that are coming along. And then Article 6 is going to be the same because we put aside $5,000 a year to go to town revaluation capital reserve fund because we put it in, have it there to pay because they do it once every 5 years. And the money to, yes?
I'm sorry, I said bless you to hope. Right.
And then town vehicles capital reserve. And Article 8 we won't have because we've already taken care of selling pieces of, or sold one of them. I'm trying to get contact with the other guy to get a closing date. And then we may have one more for paving a section of road. So we're going to have a small list of things which will keep the budget down as well. So that's going to be good. And budget items, I'm still getting a few things coming in. New London ambulance is looking like it's just a 4% increase from last year, so that's not bad. Once we get a few more things in, we'll be able to actually go right down through and put numbers right in everything. Paternity leave, that was something that you were putting
Yes,
in. And
Joseph Junior came
Yep.
to me and asked for paternity leave.
okay,
I told him I wasn't sure if there was a benefits package that allowed that or how it worked.
as far as I know, nothing like that was in the offer letter, which we can look at. I think without three of us here to discuss it, I'd rather table it till next week.
Okay.
And Joe had something on the transfer station, I'm not sure what, and the school signage, so we'll have to wait on that. Broadband provider, yes, I got another thing from a broadband source. What we've done in the past, we've had broadband provider looking to use some of the state's money that has been coming available. The initial state funding was in the tune of about 55 million, and now another 40 million has come available. So where is it? Hub 66, which is a company I hadn't heard of, sent an email reaching out to find out if Hub 66 can get a letter of support from the town of Croydon for broadband expansion. The state is awarding 40 million in second round of funding for the expansion of broadband. Last round, the Hampshire Electric Cooperative won an award, but only included 8 homes in Croydon under their design. We're interested in getting fiber optic internet access to every resident in Croydon as part of our design, and we appreciate your support. Some other things about what they need from us and so forth. First step is simply a letter from the town on the town letterhead saying, yes, we're in support of this, which we did with Consolidated. They proposed this for the first round of funding. So I reached out to Dale because she and Allison were the Croydon Broadband Committee. And she has a package of stuff that we should be able to send along with this, and we'll get this sent in, because it'd really be nice if the town could get broadband. It would be a big benefit. So that gets put aside. Where'd I hide the agenda? Yes.
What happened with Consolidated?
Consolidated did not win the bid. As it happened, the state had required it to be a nonprofit. That's why, as this letter states, New Hampshire Electric Cooperative was the awarded the bid to spend that original amount, which when I saw the documentation, I did not see anything that made that very clear. So I think that was a little bit of poor practice from the state.
So you're on Hub 66 is not.
On this next one, I do not know if there's any criteria, because all I got is just what came from Hub 66, not the actual announcement from the state. So this is a second package of $40 million that I think came actually from the feds to be used by the state. And I'm hoping that it doesn't limit it to any particular group of providers. And then, oh,
Would it be wise to kind of spread our eggs out over a couple baskets and maybe check back Consolidated as well and see if there's been any progress? Further their, I don't know.
I've been in contact with Consolidated a couple times about how the process was through the bid. So I'll see about checking to see if they're hearing anything as well. I don't care who gets it.
No,
I just want to see the town get the benefit.
Majority of town residents are already through Consolidated. They're not through Starlink or HughesNet or something along that.
Well, the thing is,
That's all the trash.
it's got nothing to do whether it's Consolidated or anybody else. Consolidated is pretty much just all wire. They're talking fiber, which is going to have to be all new, run everywhere. So.
Yes, but I guess what I was asking is, if it were through, what company is this?
This is Hub 66. They're out of Acton, Mass.
Okay, so if it were through that company, that would basically require the residents of the town to providers, correct?
No, not necessarily, because Consolidated is primarily just telephone, and you're getting it through that way. Fiber could be almost anything. So and the way things are happening these days, just because you have something connected by one company doesn't necessarily mean you have to use their company to have access over it. It's just like the electric companies. Yes, we're mostly covered by Eversource, but you can purchase your electricity from almost anybody. So it gets confusing, but it's the way we live these days. So,
You got it sorted out, I assume you've done the research.
yeah, so I think I'll contact these people, and I will contact Consolidated and see what we've got from them, or if they're even aware of it. Another item I have on the to-do list, is items from the to-do list. We need to develop what we'd like for front steps on the town hall so that we can put out a request for bids. Again, this is where I'd like Joe's input, because just two of us, that's not as valid.
I like his, I think he had the idea of doing the platform, or did you? with stairs
Well, we
going?
discussed it going out and then having stairs go both directions is one possibility. I suspect that's going to be more expensive. Whereas simply tearing out what's there, going out a little bit larger platform and then stairs down is probably more what we need at this point.
If you change it, you might have to comply with access for disabled people.
For disabled, we have our ramp and everything through that door, so we're covered there. Thank you for asking, because I do pay attention
Forgot
to
about that, so it's dark.
ADA compliance stuff.
They work on that too.
That's a very good idea.
But what we've got there is really nice because it's covered. It takes minimal effort to keep it clean. It's lit. The only thing we have to remember to do is unlock the door. So that's pretty good. I need to work with Melissa on filling out this non-public session log. The legislature last year dictated that the towns have to have a log of all their non-public sessions. And I don't know how far back we've got to go, so we were just going to start working through past minutes and adding it to it. It simply says you need a log of non-public sessions. And it's just another thing to get done. And then the last thing that we had on the items from the to-do list is a new signboard for out front. It has got to the point where I can hardly keep numbers or letters on there if it's a breezy day. So Charlene took the time to research a new board with bigger letters.
Nice.
And she's got it on order, so we should have it, I'm guessing, by the end of the month. And then we'll be able to get it put out there so we can post the meeting minutes and everything and not be dealing with these numbers and letters that are just about falling apart. She's taped them together way too many times. But what's happening, even the lips where you put them on the signboard are deteriorating and it's about ready to fall apart.
I'm sure the cold doesn't help either.
Most of it is solar damage. UV rays break the plastic down and it just breaks apart. One update from last meeting, I talked about the LED bulbs here. I put in the part number and found that through Amazon, I actually can get them the cheapest. They're $24 for a 6-pack, so we need, a couple 6-packs, and we'll have a couple spares we can put some other places. So I'll get these on order this week. NRRA sent out, I think, a duplicate of what we've sent through them for recycle and everything. Looks like it. Because I got one 1017. It's a different report, so I'm not sure it's as accurate. I did get in touch with DOT for the card for the highway department and whatever happened, our request disappeared, got lost. So I've got the information for Joe and a couple other things, and I'll work with him to get that sent in so they can have a card procure fuel from the depot over in oh, where's that bull place? What's that?
Is it the depot guy?
No, it's over in, headed towards 103 going,
You say in Guile?
Dial, yeah. I'm not sure where, but at least that way
The
they,
radio shack used to be the town department.
Oh, I didn't know.
okay. So that way they can get fuel for the portable equipment instead of having to put it on their credit card and get reimbursed. It's not proper for them to have to do that. And then the last item I have is the fire department had approached the town to see about supporting them in getting a new piece of equipment. What that meant was the town would submit the request for the grant because it had to go through the town because they're a private organization. The grants only go to municipalities. So the grant was approved. It's for, I'm not sure how much the maximum was, but they needed the invoice for the equipment, and that came in, and I've sent it into the grant. This is some sort of rescue JAWS type things with the power packs and all the parts and everything else. It isn't cheap, $29,000.
Oh, jeez.
But that's what the grant is paying for. So most the town's gonna have to do is get the grant money in, turn around and write the check to the fire department. So that'll be, a benefit to them and a benefit for the town, and we won't have spent any money, which I really like.
It's a win-win-win.
Yes, exactly. I did get an odd email, mailing thing concerning website stuff, but I think it's efficient. Because when I talked to Aaron, this wasn't the company he was dealing with, and we aren't dealing with this one, we're dealing with Civic Plus. So that takes care of that. And the one piece of mail that came in today was from Mascoma Bank telling us that digital banking card is disabled due to inactivity. And I think that's basically the fact that Angela doesn't use the credit card type thing to do anything with. And I think with that, that covers everything I had on the agenda. Do you have anything for this evening?
No, you've covered all of my things.
Excellent. Anything from the audience?
I have a list.
I wouldn't ask, didn't want to hear.
So I missed the last meeting because we can't be in three places at once. Maybe this is already transpired, but did the town send any communication in follow-up to the hearing about the well?
At this point, the only thing the town has done is announce the fact that we are in the 45-day public hearing submission period. Not taking a position per se. I think this is a point where we make sure the citizens are aware of what they can do and have done for them by the DES as far as monitoring and so forth that they request it. But at this point, the town hasn't particularly set any policy regarding it.
This is an opportunity to make sure we set at the get-go what our concerns or expectations would be on behalf of people they found that might be affected by it.
Let's put it on the agenda for next week to craft a comment from the town to the public comment board. That way we can make sure, number one, we're heard, we're on their list anyways, but this is confirmation. I don't like to make assumptions. They don't always come true. And I'll work at starting to draft up something so we can at the meeting.
And there was a little discussion about it at the last meeting, where Joe said that he was adamant that it shouldn't be done in the spring. He would like
That's
to-
exactly.
Yeah, because,
So they did discuss it.
yeah, because testing in the spring could be substantially different than testing in the fall.
Right.
Just look at the water levels, that tells you quite a bit right there.
And I think the 45 days is up mid-December.
Mid-December was October 25th, that was the, so, but I've got the stuff right on my desk so we can send it to them.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because they stated some date.
What day was the meeting? December 9th.
What was that?
December
9th? Okay. Yep.
So will you be having a meeting before?
Our next meeting is
Six,
is which?
does that sound right? 6?
6th. But if we feel we need to get it in earlier, we can be sure to have an extra meeting, just simply to focus on work session between budget and that.
I would defer to other people on what makes sense. Want to do a bit of time.
So they figure this, that's not right.
Oh, so I also wanted to follow up on the discussion a while back about getting some better safety when school is, kids are being dropped off and dismissed.
Hopes, you get so many things.
Yeah, we actually did discuss that last meeting.
Joe is in the process of getting,
If the kids end up being online, that would be really helpful.
I'm working on that. Right now, I'm learning how to get stuff put on, and Kim Berghammer has also volunteered to be one of our town website editors and stuff.
Good.
And as it happens, she's working for Lebanon now. And part of her duties are using that website, which is the same as Civic Plus. So she's learning how to put stuff in. So she's learning on their dime so that she can help us put the stuff on the website.
So this relates to that, and it's probably really simple. I was actually looking at the website yesterday. And this is not a criticism, it's just an observation. It's very bare, including there is no contact link for anyone or anybody.
I know.
Not a phone number for the town office, for any officials, the names.
Info is the town clerk's office hour on the very first page.
Office hours, but unless you are coming in person,
Yep.
it does not facilitate
Yep.
something who might not be.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the process of learning how to edit everything, and it's
That's great, that's tough.
it's not as transparent as I thought it was going to be. When I went to add somebody to the zoning board, I went to the zoning board section, personnel section. You add the name in there, then it'll add a few other things that I missed the first time. So it's
I appreciate the
agendas, minutes.
question when, if a petition for an article or to make a request, then I'm done.
It- That's zoning.
To answer your previous question, last meeting, he had briefly mentioned Joe was gonna do an update on it, he's not here, but there's a safety thing. He did mention that they're in the process of getting signs for either end that have flashing lights around speed limits, as well as below flashes your actual speed. And then it has the red and blue flashing lights on, it, let you know where we're over and stuff. At both ends, he said they're also working on prices of a portable setup, the same way that they move around town to different problem areas.
As-
So, have they researched their hours yet? Or
It sounds like the school ones were in the process of being done, but they were also trying to get a price on a portable one.
But also the state is involved too, with as
Yeah.
far as where they have to be
Because
located,
of the state.
so, but he's on it.
Awesome.
Okay, as to your question about last day for 25 or more voters or 2% of the total, whichever is less, but in no case fewer than 10 voters to petition select board to include in the warrant is Tuesday, February 7th. So if anybody has something that they want to include as a warrant, that's the last day to have it done. And that's February 10th is the last date that we have for giving notice of public hearings on annual budget. We're going to be doing that in advance of that. And Friday, February 17th is the last day to hold at least one public hearing on annual budget. I think we've got it scheduled for January 24th, yeah. I like to make sure we're not pushing the
Oh, yeah.
limits of the dates. Anything else looks pretty good. I've got them started here, so if you want to look.
Okay, yeah.
It's a great thing that I keep in the folder there, so we all know what's coming due. Charlene also is a great resource, she kind of gives us heads up. And I'll bet you've got something.
So culverts on our road,
Yep,
Haywood Road, town home, privately maintained. My understanding is the culverts need to be maintained by the landowner. So at the end of the driveway, it's not being maintained. And it's creating
now this is on which road?
Haywood Road.
I'll have to ask Joe Bulio, because I just don't know.
So my understanding is when you put in a culvert at the end of your driveway, you're responsible for maintaining it. So we have a culvert that has not been maintained. It's causing an issue with our road. And I've yet to be able to find the landowner.
Okay, can I have Joe call you and get clarification?
Yeah,
Your name is?
Henry Touchette.
Okay, so put that right in the minute, that way nobody's missing things.
What I was hoping for, when the culvert was put in, it was actually put too close to the road. And what I'd like is if the town could actually, notify the landowner, see if they'll respond. I've been trying to deal with it all summer.
Okay,
Not an issue.
Just washing the road out, the town, privately maintained town road,
Correct, so that's my gravel.
your gravel, so he should be helpful.
So I'd really like to remove the culvert.
I'll talk with Joe, and if he has a need of clarification from you, he can talk to you, but I just soon book him with it so I can see what the
Yeah, I'd like to see
situation is. That way, we've got a number of different people's eyes on it, looking at what it is, and we can make sure that if we need to write a letter, there's, some pretty good information that we can put down. I don't know the specific laws on that, but that's where I turn to the New Hampshire Municipal to get some advice if we
So
need.
that was my understanding is you put in a culvert, you maintain it. And it always had been maintained until about a year and a half ago.
Okay,
And now it's an issue.
All right.
Do you want to remove them together? You want to fix it? Like, move away
Uh,
from it?
Yes, Ed.
You'll fix it.
While we're discussing culvert, the one on Lower Hill, I did bring it up at a previous select board meeting. I know that it may have been looked at and may not. I did see a truck come up my driveway on camera. I wasn't alone. And nobody took my contact info as far as having somebody reach out. But the one on Lower Hill up here, relatively new one for these subdivisions that are going in. I guess the slope on it isn't proper. It's kicking a bunch of water, and the drainage is coming off their hill, off of their driveway. Runs right down over the hill. I've got pictures that I can show for reference. From the time we had pretty good rain, it runs right down because of the way the road is now graded. It pitches right into my driveway.
Can you get with Joe and show him exactly what that is, or have you?
Now, well,
Because I hate to try to be in the middle of everything because,
I understand that, but I did mention it to Joe Bolio, this was months ago. I know he's a busy man. Joe Marco kind of laid into me pretty good at a meeting one night regarding this, saying that I didn't do my due diligence in reaching out again. It's not my job to beg people to come and look at my stuff.
so you're saying on Lovern Hill, how far up?
It's the new driveway.
Oh, the new driveway, okay.
But I thought Joe was gonna demand that be fixed. I thought it wasn't right and he wanted it fixed.
I don't know, I'm sure it got brought up and maybe it's mid litigation right now. I'm not 100% sure, but it's gonna cause me one hell of a headache in the spring.
Well,
Because of the ice and everything else that pitches off that road, there's no culvert or anything right along where my driveway splits from my driveway, everything pitches right off the left side. Now there is a drain, a catch right there, but it gets plowed in over and over by all the sand that comes off of Lovern Hill, which is now being additionally filled in with silt. So everything pitches right across the road as well towards the park right there. It causes one hell of a nice.
yeah, we don't want to do it.
Relatively, I won't say a new development, but it's over the last couple of years, it's gotten progressively worse. And I'm getting water in my basement. More water in my basement, I should say.
So it looks like we need to get with Joe and get up there and take a look what's going on.
I mean, when I can hear water bubbling through the bottom of my basement floor when I'm sitting here at about 2 in the morning, sleepless,
Mhm.
I'm having a problem. I'm an insomniac anyway. I don't need anything else to edge that on.
Well, not being a road person, I turn to Joe to be the expert, so.
I know, and I want to say it wasn't Larry, but one of the other zoning board guys. I'm sorry, not zoning, planning board guys. I don't remember the other gentleman's name. He said he'd come check it out, because he does work in the same field.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be talking with Joe tomorrow anyways regarding the
I know they're busy. And
DOT stuff.
I wasn't making a huge stink about it. It was summertime, wasn't too big of an issue. This rain and everything else in the spring that's going to result from all this melt and pitch right down the hill.
Well, the town has spent a significant amount of money on repaving Lovern Hill. We don't want to endanger that or to have any situation that poses a danger to anybody driving on it, such as sand all over and stuff.
Oh yeah, one good rainstorm, I mean, you can see in the weeds, after the weeds though, you can see right where the water drained and then took a direct 90-degree right hand turn right in my driveway.
Yep.
So, I'm not trying to pose a big stink about it, but if something can be done, I'd be grateful.
You don't want a free indoor swimming pool?
I already got one. I accepted that when I moved into Croydon, knowing how low I was in the water. I kind of accepted a big water in my face. I run a sub pump every day as a somewhat new development over the last 2 years.
But if we don't, so.
That's a state people.
It's a shock.
There ain't any amount of salt water.
You mentioned the transfer station, did they do, is it shingles or metal that they redid on the?
On the transfer station, metal.
Oh, okay, because I think you mentioned you wanted gutters over there, they had one of those called rain shields that they slide on shingles.
Oh, yeah.
Over and over, so I don't need it, it's all panel warmers, it's brand new, so it's have that.
No, what I was suggesting to Carl was we simply get a short piece of PVC and cut it the long way, heat it up a little bit, open it up, make a quick one.
Big shift, but better.
And I think I got a chunk in the backyard anyway, so.
They make gutter Home Depot every day.
Yeah, and
I just think
for
it's
one little
so
section,
crafty.
for one little section is pretty cheap.
Yeah. $10, I think.
Well, I hate to spend any money.
I love it. Genius.
But you gotta buy the PVC.
No, no, it's not like that.
Actually, I got a whole bunch of them, I might one of these.
Oh,
I'll donate.
no, I'm a frugal old Vermonter, and I believe in trying to use stuff that either we have or instead of purchasing it, because, you know, every time you spend those $10, $20, $100, it mounts up.
Yeah.
And come the end of the year, you look at your budget and you think, oh my goodness. And no, I rather try to keep it as close to the best as possible, keep it down so we don't have to have.
But if you buy the one section of gutter, spend 20 minutes mounting it, be done. Or you get a piece of PVC, spend half the day figuring it, melting it, opening it up. Self-defense.
No. Yep.
Sometimes the labor outweighs the.
Plus, I need to check with Carl just to.
Yeah, I'm sure he let us in there, play the torch and open up.
He manages to squirrel away quite a few things. He may have a piece of
Yeah.
gutter, so.
You probably get a piece of gutter too.
As I said, probably a piece of gutter in one of the dumpsters from time to time.
Anything else? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Want to make a motion, we adjourn?
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And vote, and 7:57. I'm a lot more with it tonight than I was last week.
Yeah.
I was just.
Yeah.
I know what it was. I've got it. Didn't even think about it.
Snapchat, huh?
Well, it just kind of dragged me down. It